Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome back to RobMotive. I have to say, as I'm out here cruising around in the Toyota Tacoma, I was wrong. And you know, you have to be willing to admit when you're wrong, particularly when you're doing what I do, and that is mods and things, accessories, additions to the Toyota Tacoma. And in this case, I was wrong about this mod for the Tacoma. And I'm talking about the cold air. It's not really even a cold air, the intake that I put on recently. It is a customized, I customized it a little bit, intake from Rough Country. It's really a rebranded K&N, I think. But anyway, it's the open style. That's why I say it's not a real cold air intake, because there's no box. It's just an open box where it sucks the air in from what's fed in through the fender, the same as the OEM intake, which was a cold air intake, by the way. And of course, the air that's under the hood, because it doesn't discriminate. It just pulls in whatever air is coming at it, right? Now, where I was wrong is about the sound. You know, I've stated in many videos that cold air intakes, except for the Air Raid, which is on the Jeep Gladiator I have, does nothing. But that's not necessarily true. Up until now, I guess it would have been, because I've never noticed anything from any other cold air intakes until this version. I can hear a nice throaty sound when I'm on the gas. Obviously, when I'm sitting here idling, like I am right now, you can't hear anything, because it just doesn't do anything. But when you get on the gas, you take off, you get going, you punch it a little bit, you definitely can hear sound coming from right over there, which is where the intake is located in the Toyota Tacoma. As far as horsepower and fuel economy and all that, I mean, you know, I've never noticed anything, and I still don't. Right now, I'm getting 16.5 miles per gallon. Now, I haven't really changed anything else. I mean, there's not a lot more weight. I have different wheels and tires, but they're stock size. They've got to be a little bit heavier, but I don't really think enough to affect the fuel economy on the truck. So it's just the way that it is. The Toyota Tacoma is definitely not a hypermiler, and it isn't going to be. However, with the addition of the pedal commander, there is an eco mode. You can select that if you want to try to increase your fuel economy. I don't go for that. I go for the better acceleration, the more sensitive accelerator. But I have heard some people, and I've never really checked this myself too much other than just casual glances at the fuel economy gauge, but I've never really noticed that it's made a big difference. But I have had people tell me that driving around in, say, city mode 3, for instance, they've actually noticed some better fuel economy. Who knows? I suppose I need to take a trip one of these days somewhere and prove that out for myself and see if it makes any big difference. Another thing I wanted to talk about a little bit, you know, we have this 2024 Tacoma coming. And Toyota has taken the same approach with that truck, the introduction of it to us, the release of it, all that stuff, as they did with the Tundra, which I find a little bit surprising, because I heard a lot of complaints when they were doing this or using this approach with the Tundra, and they went ahead and did the same thing. And what I'm talking about are these piecemeal releases, little shots of things. You know, you get a glimpse of, maybe the tailgate with some verbiage on it from a company they're working with, or maybe silhouette shots of the truck where it's really so dark you can't make out anything. I mean, you get a general idea of what it looks like, but until you can actually see the shadows and the body lines and all of that kind of stuff on the truck, you really still have no idea what it looks like. And I'm starting to hear some complaints from folks talking about how the Toyota has dragged it on so long and released so little so slowly that they've gotten bored with it. they don't even check the site out anymore. And when Toyota does release something, it's the same old, and they don't even really care. They've lost interest. And that's unfortunate, because I would think that Toyota, having the #1 best-selling mid-size truck, would have a little bit more fanfare for this. I would think they would schedule some sort of a big release, some big announcement, you know, kind of like old Elon does with his, or did with his Tesla and his Cybertruck. I mean, he had this big publicized presentation, created a lot of buzz for it. Maybe Toyota figures that since they're #1, they don't need to put the effort into that. Maybe they figure they'll just stay where they're at. It's no big deal. Nobody's beating them anyway. I think that's a mistake. I think it's bad to take that approach, because you're only #1 until you're not #1 anymore. For me personally, you know, I am a Tacoma fan, an enthusiast, so I never really get sick of seeing what Toyota puts out, particularly when it comes to the Tacoma. I do wish that they had some big major thing coming, something, you know, that would really showcase the new redesigned truck, which, by the way, since they're not, I wonder if it's maybe not going to be as eye-popping or as technologically advanced as maybe we hope it will be. Maybe that's why. Maybe they're trying to not get our expectations up for a reason. You know, they did that with the Tundra. They got everybody's expectations up, even though they took the same approach. And it kind of fell flat a bit, I think. But if you didn't know, Toyota is going to do a full release, supposedly, on the new Tacoma on May 19th. When availability is, I'm still thinking you're not going to put your hands on one of these trucks until, probably September through the end of the year, if you're lucky. And then, given the way that supplies are these days, I imagine it's still going to be a trickle. They're going to start with the top of the line, like they always do, the TRD Pro, and then maybe the Trail Boss, and then they'll filter down into the TRD Off-Road Sport, and then the SR5s and the SRs. You know how Toyota usually does it. Anyway, I just wanted to talk about that a little bit. I'm not bored with it, but I gotta say, I do wish Toyota was moving along a little bit quicker, or at least gave us one release date and released the whole truck. Leave a comment. Let me know. What do you think? Would you have preferred they just did it all at once? Or are you okay with this slow ride that we seem to be on with the new Tacoma? I'd be curious to know. Also, real quick, I do have 2 additional channels. Mod Driven, all about the Honda Civic, and RobMotive JT, all about the Jeep Gladiator. Check them out, and if you're interested, why not subscribe? And while you're at it, smash the subscribe button here too. Thanks for watching. Stay safe out there. Bye.